I want to speak directly to the Trump voter, the MAGA supporter. At some point in time, you have to begin to admit what reality is. At some point in time, you have to think for yourself and say, what Donald Trump is telling me isn't adding up. Right? We've gone through numerous examples of this, and I'm going to show you one today. But, like, for example, he tells you at the same time, we just had the greatest year in American history. I just had the greatest first year of any president. Our economy is the best it's ever been. We're the hottest country ever. But then turns around and tells you in the next breath, this is going to take some time. We need some short-term pain for some long-term gain. Right? At some point in time, you have to look at that and go, well, wait a minute. If we just had the hottest year ever, then why do we need to go through any short-term pain? We're the best ever, right? He told you last summer that we completely obliterated Iran's nuclear capabilities. Not a couple of their sites, not a handful of their bases. We completely obliterated their nuclear capabilities. But now he's telling you we need to keep hitting Iran to prevent them from getting a nuke. If we hadn't hit them, they'd have had a nuke in 2 weeks. This guy with his fucking 2 weeks. At some point in time, you got to look at that and go, wait a minute, there's no nuclear capability to hit now if you obliterated it 8 months ago. That's not how any of this works. And now you're hearing it again, right? What did Donald Trump tell you we've done to Iran? We took everything out, right?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Mr. President, you've said the war is, quote, very complete, but your defense secretary says this is just the beginning. So which is it, and how long should Americans be prepared
Well, I think
for
you could
this war
say
to
it
last
both.
for?
It's the beginning of building a new country, but they have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft equipment. It's all been blown up. They have no radar, they have no telecommunications, and they have no leadership. It's all gone. So, you could look at that statement. We could call it a tremendous success right now as we leave here. I could call it, or we could go further, and we're going to go further. But
so according to Donald Trump, we've taken out their entire Navy, their entire Air Force, their entire air defense system, their entire leadership, no radar. They have nothing. Now, keep in mind that Iran's Air Force consisted of 300 to 400 aircraft. So Donald Trump is telling you we knocked out 400 aircraft in a couple of days and it's completely gone. And their Navy consisted of a couple of hundred vessels, and we completely wiped all of that out. Got it? In a few days, we took out a few hundred planes, a couple of hundred naval ships, their entire leadership, all of their radar, all of their air defense, everything. It's all gone. That in and of itself is hard to believe, but if it were true, then why the need for this post? If Iran does anything that stops the flow of oil within the Strait of Hormuz, they will be hit by the United States of America 20 times harder than they have been hit thus far. How are they going to stop the oil flow? You've wiped out everything. You've taken out their entire Navy, their entire Air Force, all of their radar defense systems, all of their air defense systems, their entire leadership. How are they stopping anything? Additionally, we will take out easily destroyable targets that will make it virtually impossible for Iran to ever be built back as a nation again. Well, if you've already taken out all of the military, what targets are you talking about? Are you going to start bombing civilians in cities? Death, fire, and fury will rain upon them, but I hope and pray that this does not happen. This is a gift from the United States of America to China and all other nations that heavily use the Hormuz Strait. Hopefully, it is a gesture that will be greatly appreciated. Thank you for your attention on this matter. Because, of course, he needs to be thanked for something. But none of this makes sense, MAGA. If we just had the greatest economy ever, then there's no reason for short-term pain. If we took out Iranians' entire nuclear capability last summer, there was no reason to hit them in order to stop them from getting a nuke now. And if we've wiped out everything, then they can't do anything. Ships should be able to flow freely through the Straits of Hormuz. You've wiped them out. You said the war was won. Literally, that's what you said. This war is essentially won. They have no Air Force. They have no Navy. They have no this. They have no that. How the fuck are they taking anything out in the Straits of Hormuz? MAGA, at some point in time, you need to wake up and realize this shit doesn't add up. The math ain't fucking mathing. At some point in time, you guys need to think critically. You need to think for yourself. You need to stop listening to whatever it is your handlers are telling you and think. This doesn't make any sense. None of this adds up. But none of you are going to do that, aren't you? You're all just going to go, yep, wipe them all out, but they're still blowing up ships in the Strait. They have no military whatsoever, but somehow they have a stranglehold on all of the trade in the region. Hey, Donnie, you can't bomb away those fucking files.